Welcome to Football with Cheese. Happy Monday, everyone. So in this video, we have got to talk about Joe Burrow, the state of the Bengals, and why I think this is a much bigger mess than the media is telling you. But first, make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. So by now, I'm sure you've heard the comments Joe Burrow made about not having fun. I'm not going to go back and quote him, but clearly he's not having fun. He wants to win. If he had not missed half the season, they would be right there with the Steelers and Ravens, no doubt about it, especially those Jake Browning games. It did get better when they traded for Joe Flacco. I get why they did it. I still think it was a mistake, but they wanted to try to hang in it until Burrow came back. But there's a huge disconnect between Burrow and the organization. It's really always been there. If you remember when he was drafted first overall, he didn't really want to go to Cincinnati. He questioned the organization and if they wanted to win. But there was really not much he could do. They had the first pick. They weren't trading it because you can't get value for someone like Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner. One of those once every 10-year run to the podium number one overall picks, like an Andrew Luck, a Peyton Manning. Just rare, can't miss quarterback prospect. More on his value in a second. And then they go to a Super Bowl. Looks like it's trending up. If they could have blocked Aaron Donald, which they couldn't, they win that Super Bowl. Cincinnati had a good defense back then. They do not now. Joe Burrow's never played with a good offensive line. I'm going to defend him at first. He's never played with a good offensive line. He has probably the best 1-2 receiver combo in the NFL. Jamar Chase is one of the best players in the NFL, period, let alone receiver. T. Higgins is probably the best number 2 receiver. He was out in this game. And the Bengals weren't sure if they wanted to pay them. And Joe Burrow had to step up and pretty much insist that they do to keep both of them. But they haven't gotten him a good offensive line. Like I said, never played with offensive line even average, below average at best. Now it's bad. And the defense stinks. So he's not having fun because they're not winning. Now, he was awful yesterday against the Ravens. He wasn't bad. He was awful. 25 of 39, 225, no touchdowns, 2 picks, 5.8 yards per attempt, which is terrible. 21 QBR. The offensive line did not protect him, but he just looked disinterested out there. A lot of checkdowns. Just not the same Joe Burrow. He looked checked out. I'm not saying he purposely played bad. I don't think he did, but he was not in that game at all. It's like he didn't care. If you had told me that the Ravens scored 24 points, my guess is this would be a close game down to the wire. The Bengals would score between 21 and 27. That was reasonable, even without T. Higgins. But this was pathetic. And the conspiracy theorist in me, because a lot of my football conspiracy theories are proven true, thinks that maybe he wants out. And he's playing bad on purpose. He's saying he doesn't want out. He doesn't want to trade. Of course he's going to say that. Because it's going to bring a lot more attention to him and to the locker room. It's going to be a total mess. So he's saying all the right things. I don't think I believe him. I think in the offseason he's going to request a trade. And here's the problem. And it's a catch-22 for the Cincinnati Bengals. You cannot get value for a franchise quarterback in draft capital, no matter what. Because Burrow's ceiling, the highest level he's played, is as good as any quarterback in the NFL. That is how good he is when he's hitting on all cylinders. And 4 first-round picks is not value for a franchise quarterback. So if the Jets come to you and say, we'll give you 2 first-round picks this year, 2 next year, is that enough? Probably not. And then you need a quarterback. Now, with Burrow healthy this year, would they be right there fighting for the division? Yes. Would they win the division? Probably. Because the Steelers and Ravens have been disappointing. But they're not a true contender to win the Super Bowl. They don't have a good enough defense. They don't have a good enough offensive line. So the good news, if you trade Burrow and get 4 first-round picks, well, you can add way more talent to the roster because they need help on defense, need help on the offensive line. The problem is the front office, led by Director of Player Personnel Duke Tobin, have drafted so poorly in recent years. Can you trust them? What if you do nothing with those 4 first-round picks and you still need a quarterback? So it's a total catch-22. Burrow doesn't want to be there. He's not playing well, going through the motions. Well, you're not going to win. And if you trade him, if you don't hit on those draft picks, you're not going to win, and you don't have a quarterback. It's a disaster. We've talked about this. Trey Hendrickson should already have been signed long-term. They could have had him for probably $30 million a year back in February. Now he's going to want 36 to 38, and he's very likely to leave as a free agent. I do not see him re-signing in Cincinnati. I don't think he wants to be there, and I don't blame him. But Joe Burrow, I defended him earlier, but now I'm going to say that performance was pathetic. I get it. You had a 1% chance, less than 1, to make the playoffs, even if you went out. But he's checked out. And Joe Flacco would have been a better quarterback for them yesterday. Is Joe Flacco a better quarterback? Heck no. But he would have been better yesterday. He would have done more than Burrow did in that game. It was a pathetic performance from football's Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know where you go from here. Bengals fans, please let me know in the comments. What can you do? I know some of you can be excited. Oh, we'll get 4 first-round picks. Maybe more. But you have to do something with them. And that's still not enough value for a franchise quarterback. I remember when Andrew Luck was coming out, and he ended up retiring early, but the discussion was, if someone offered you their next 7 first-round picks, would you take it if you're the Colts? Probably not. Because you still need a quarterback. So I don't know where you're going. But the Bengals situation is pretty much a disaster. Once again, let me know in the comments. How do you fix this? Can you fix this? Do you fire Duke Tobin? Bring in a whole new personnel department? Trade back? Just reload? How do you get Burrow happy again? Because he's not. Okay. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Lights Out Podcast is every Tuesday night, me and Mike, where we talk MLB, college football, and of course NFL. He is a Bengals fan, so we will talk about Joe Burrow, and I would love to get his take on that. So make sure you check that out. Link in the description. You can see it right here. Share this with anyone who loves football. I'm going to do a Packer video on what it means that Micah Parsons hurt. I'm still waiting to make sure it's a torn ACL, because if it's not, that would change things. So just waiting on that. So look out for that video later today. Check this out if you have not, and I'll see you in the next one.